It's a done deal now. Deshaun Watson and the NFL have settled the personal conduct case with the with the NFL, and what it was basically they had an arbitrator. She gave him 6 games, and she used the terms egregious and that he was a predator and that he was never interested really in massages, that he had ulterior motives. So he got 6 games.
He was a sore guy, Rob. He just needed a lot of rubs.
Yeah, all over the place.
Yeah.
And the NFL wasn't having it. They thought that the punishment didn't fit the crime, so to speak. And so they said they would appeal it. And Goodell got to either hear it himself, Fred, or put in another guy that he would pick, which you knew would have an NFL slant if Goodell's picking him. But anyway, so then the Players Association, on behalf of Deshaun Watson, approached the league, I guess, and they decided they wanted to settle this thing and get it all over with. And so Deshaun Watson, 11 games now instead of 6. The NFL originally offered him a 12-game suspension, which he turned down. You got to remember, Deshaun Watson said he was innocent and didn't think he should be suspended at all, Fred. And I'll say this. I think the NFL kind of bent on this because they wanted an indefinite suspension. They offered him 12 originally, and they're taking 11, which is fine as we go forward. But I think I would have a problem if I'm the league to have Deshaun Watson still say he's innocent and he hasn't done anything, and, to kind of play like they've railroaded him or bamboozled him into this, and it's not fair. At some point, Fred, everybody deserves a second chance, but you have to acknowledge that you did something wrong. Whether you thought so or not is not the way it goes, Fred. It's the other people who were affected. Am I correct?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. He's also being ordered to have mandatory counseling. And Dee Haslam, the co-owner of the Browns, said something, and it's true. We respect his opinion, saying he didn't do anything wrong. I do think in counseling, Deshaun will learn a lot more about himself. Counseling takes time. You just don't go to a counseling session, wake up, and understand the impact it has. I think it's a layering effect. And anybody that's been to any kind of therapy understands that you've got to peel back the layers of the onion. And it takes a while to get to the root of the problem. 11 games. I'll start with that, Rob. 11 games. Is that fair? Is that enough? The league wanted more. He wanted less. Is that enough? I have to be really honest with you, and we've known each other a long time. It's hard for me to sit and speak about the number of games somebody should be suspended or how much time off a business should give somebody. And the NFL is a business because I can't truly appreciate what the women went through. I can understand it. I can process it.
Right. I
can
that.
Look at it, but I don't know what that's like. I don't know how terrifying that is. I don't know what they were asked or forced to do. I don't know. And I think it's unfair for those of us that really don't know to sit and try to say, well, 11 games is a no, they need 12. Maybe it should be more. I mean, if you look at the players that have been suspended.
Fred, let me just say this real quick.
All right, go ahead.
If you were other than being the star quarterback for a team of a franchise, if you were Joe Blow working at most jobs and this went on, you would be out of work. Let's just be honest.
You'd be fired.
You would be fired. Okay, so let's not act like Deshaun Watson, was being raked over the coals. Most people would have lost their gigs because they represent a company or an organization. Correct?
Yeah, and that's my point. I'm saying that maybe 11 games not enough. Maybe it should be more. Maybe it should be a lifetime ban. I don't know. I know he did something that was pretty damaging. That I do know. We've all read it. We all understand it. But to put the number of games, because, Rob, you're accurate. If you are doing anything else in this country, working anywhere, and you have 25, 26 women come and charge you with assault in a massage parlor,
right?
They all can't be wrong. They all cannot be wrong.
It's too many, right? We could believe 2 or 3 or 4 can make up a story, Fred, right? We could believe that. We can't sit here and think that 26 women who all can show you the DMs and all, that they had contact with him. These are not people off the street just throwing their name in because they want to get paid.
Since Roger Goodell has been commissioner, 4 players have been suspended for more than 1 year. That includes Michael Vick and Alden Smith. 7 players have been suspended for 1 season. That includes Pac-Man Jones and Josh Gordon. 2 players for 12 weeks, 12 games, and that was Ray Rice, one of them. 1 player, 10 games, 4 players, 8 games, 5 players, 6 games, 2 players for 5 games, 4 players for 4 games, 1 player for 3 games. So 4 players have been suspended more than 1 season. 7 players have been suspended 1 season. But again, now this has been collectively bargained, and you have other people hearing the case. For him to come out and say, hey, if I could tell the truth, and I've been trying, but nobody's listening to me. If I could talk and tell the truth, and you'd listen to me, you'd find out that I'm innocent. Okay, those are words from someone that doesn't get it.
That's 100%.
They're a bit delusional. They're a bit delusional.
Can you imagine what he's been through, Fred? His career derailed, right? He hasn't played in what'll be almost 2 seasons.
Right.
And he still thinks like what he was doing, there was nothing wrong. Did he read the words used even by the arbitrator? Egregious?
Predatory?
Predator? That massages were not what he was going after? I mean, is he that close to it that he really honestly believes that one morning people woke up and said, let's get Deshaun Watson. Let's get Deshaun Watson. Let's throw a monkey wrench into his life because, you know what? He's got it too good.
Psychologically, he's in a position where he's saying, it's everybody else. You don't understand me. See, if you understood me, you would know. No, if it's everybody else, it can't be everybody else.
Right.
It's got to be you. And I would suggest to you, and this is something that happens in sports throughout the country. You know, everybody understands what he did. The penalty has been levied. He's got to go to counseling, and then he will come back. Okay. I would suggest to you the folks in Cleveland, because he now plays for the Browns.
Yep.
You know the funny thing? If he's our guy, it's not so bad. Anywhere in the country, when you have a guy do something, if he's on your team, maybe it wasn't quite, he did it, but maybe it's not that bad. We always defend the guys. We become blinded by the fact that they are stars on our team.
Do you remember the cheers when Ray Rice first came back to the Ravens before people saw the video?
Yes, absolutely.
You remember that? And the thing that was interesting was Deshaun Watson in that game at Jacksonville was booed heavily by the visiting crowd. And you know that's what's going to happen probably around the country as he's a visiting player. But you're right. Deshaun Watson out 11 games. Did the NFL get it right or wrong? We want to hear from you.
All right,
Fred,
let's go. Big E in Irvine. You're on The Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. What's going on?
Yo, what's good, my brothers?
Yo.
Hey, real quick though, man. I don't know Deshaun Watson, and I don't know them women. You do have predators out there, but what I do know about this case that the lawyer is the neighbor of the owner. Deshaun Watson came out and said some things about racism within the organization, and I gotta say this last part. Myself, I've been accused of domestic violence 3 times, and 3 times
okay. Hey,
women did not show up.
Hold on, Big E. That doesn't mean that this didn't happen because that happened to you. I get that. I understand why you're sympathetic to Deshaun Watson, but it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. You can't use your own personal experience to say that they made 26 women didn't make up a story. You can't believe that. Thanks for the call. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Big E. Let's go to Arizona. Ryan, you're on The Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. So here are my thoughts. Don't you think that he should be getting suspended for at least as many games as sexual assault cases that went on? I mean, it seems like that would be the minimum amount, each woman being worth one. And then I was kind of curious on your thoughts as to a franchise that would not only hire him, but circumvent his, the upcoming penalty by structuring his contract in a way to avoid all financial penalties. That's all I got.
Look at it like
we
this.
Appreciate it. I do have a problem with the Browns doing that, Fred. I do.
If you're running a business, I've often said this, and people argue with me, does character count? It doesn't matter what your business is. Does character count? When you're out looking for employees, do you factor in their character, what kind of person they are, what expectations you have of them? The Browns came down to this: winning trumps all. We need to win. And if we need to win, we'll do what it takes. And if that means we employ Deshaun Watson, we do that. I'm not saying everybody doesn't deserve to have a chance to work. I'm not suggesting
we all agree that people should get a second chance and have an opportunity to work. It doesn't mean, Fred, as in I told people this from Jump Street. Trevor Bauer would never wear a Dodgers uniform. He might pitch in the major leagues, Fred, but he's not pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Did you ever doubt he'd put on another Dodger uniform?
I did not.
I didn't.
No, I did not.
That organization won't do it. There'll be some other team, Fred, right? There'll be a team.
Somebody will think he's the missing piece. Somebody will take a flyer on him because they'll say, well, he has paid his debt.
Yep.
He has served his suspension, and he deserves a second chance. And every team has the opportunity to make that decision. But the question becomes, if you're the owner of the team, do you want to make that decision? Character counts, I think, when you hire people. But in sports, oftentimes winning trumps all. In Milwaukee, Brian is on the line. Brian, appreciate you holding. You're on The Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio.
Guys, what is up? What is up?
What's up? How you, buddy?
Hey, in Milwaukee, we got good weather. We got good football. We got this football team here in Green Bay that doesn't, sign these kind of players that got these issues going on. So life's good, but it's funny you mentioned that earlier about the morality of some of these teams, because it just feels like the Browns are almost like, what can we do to win? What do we need to do? And it almost felt like they were getting such a good bargain with this case or this deal with Deshaun Watson that they just had to take it. And as far as the suspension, it's ridiculous. Dozens of women come forward to say they've been assaulted, but Calvin Ridley gets suspended for a season because he bet on a couple of games. It's just erroneous. It's ridiculous. The fact that the NFL is like, well, if you bet, it's not that bad, but if you assault dozens of women, it's only half a season, and this counseling, what is that going to be? Him going and him and on, the fact that he has to go to this counseling, and the $5 million is a drop in the bucket. So it's ridiculous. Go Pack, go Rodgers for life, baby. Let's do this thing.
All right,
there you
we
go.
Appreciate the call, and I get the frustration. And you know this, Fred. The NFL's all over the place with its suspension. There's no, uniform kind of thing. If you remember, Ray Rice got 2 games prior to seeing the video.
Yeah.
That guy never played football again, Fred. He went from 2 games to never playing football again.
And the reason that is, Rob, in today's world, as you're driving around the country, think about this. Hey, this happened to me. You got any video? Well,
right.
no.
Video does matter.
Right. I don't have the video. Well, it didn't happen. It didn't happen the way you said it happened. Now, if you have video, then it happened exactly as you said it happened.
Hey, can we squeeze one more in, Fred? You got one more?
Yeah, I got one more. Let's go
on.
Jason in California. Jason, go ahead.
Hey guys, love the show. Thanks for getting me on. I'll keep it quick.
Yep,
so
thanks.
you guys already touched upon Trevor Bauer, and that's kind of what I was going to go with.
Trevor
my
got
other
2
point,
years with no pay, and you know what? The Players Association didn't make a peep. Not a peep.
No, Rob, 1 year with no pay. The first year, he was on. He was not
list.
suspended.
Right, exempt list.
So he got paid that first year. This year, he's not getting paid. And I'll just say this: I'm interested to figure out why there's no resolution yet.
Yeah.
Why there's
crazy.
no resolution yet?
Yep. Okay, go ahead. Make your point.
Yeah, so this whole thing, number one, what kind of message are we sending to our youth? Okay, because they're obviously going to see this in the news. I don't think it's right. And number two, I have big issues with Colin Kaepernick hasn't been back on a field because he is protesting social injustice Yeah, you've got this guy who's assaulting women who's going to be back on the field before the season ends. I just don't think it's right, guys. Love the show.
No doubt. There's something wrong with it. We talked about it, Chris and I, when Deshaun Watson got the deal. He was rewarded, Fred, and Colin Kaepernick, who we all know later on was dead right and spot on about the what was going on in this country, and he got his career pulled from him. So appreciate the call. Thanks so much, guys. All right.